Hey, this is Ish, and today I'll be talking to you about how to shift your overall energy state from a negative energy state to a positive energy state. And I'll be talking to you about what negative energy is and how it arises, and then how to cultivate positive energy. So, I want to be clear that I talk about shifting your overall state of being rather than completely eliminating negative energy, because you'll find that it's impossible to do so. Because at the end of the day, we are human beings and we're all going to have days where we complain or we're reactive. And secondly, it's also just impossible to completely get rid of all the negative energy states because we have a whole range of emotions as humans. And even some enlightened masters get angry at times. But what you will find is that when you do shift your overall state of being from more negative way of being to more of a positive state of being, you'll find that your view of the world changes, your experience of the world changes, and also your perspective of the world changes as well. And it can be very powerful to notice this transition. And I personally relate to this topic as the first 30 years of my life was spent in a predominant negative energy state. And this manifested as a lot of complaining, finding faults everywhere, thinking that people are out to get me, being reactive, being angry at people in the world around me, feeling like a victim, feeling powerless, feeling like I had no control, as opposed to being proactive and focusing on what I can control and having inner stability, which is something I'm going to talk about later. And other ways that negative energy may manifest can be through apathy, where you simply give up and you don't want to try anymore, or you just think that things are too hard and you just have no personal energy to push through anything. And if you've studied the law of attraction, you may have heard of the popular phrase, like energy attracts like energy. So you may not even realize that you are emitting this type of energy. And I know I haven't, because you may also be hanging around other people that are emanating the same type of energy, and they may be reactive also, and they may also be freaking out. So you may think that this behavior is normal. And I want to talk to you now about how this negative energy arises. So you may think that, quote unquote, you are a negative person, but actually, it's the made up a lot of different factors. So some of it could be the conditioning from your past, where you put your attention to, what habits you have, and these things influence you to see life in a more negative slant rather than more of a positive slant. So let's go into some of these things. So let's start with attention, which is the most important thing that you have. If you put your attention to certain social media sites where people are complaining a lot, or you watch certain TV shows, and I've done this a lot where people are freaking out, especially reality TV has this a lot, or you're watching the news where it shows more negative things that are going around in the world rather than more positive things, this can shift your viewpoint and outlook on life. Also, if you've had poor social experiences, this can contribute to this energy. Or if you've gotten into a downward spiral of emotions, and I talk about the downward spiral and upward spiral in a different talk, where the negative energy that you put out and different actions that you take compound and go further into a more negative state, this can cause you to eventually give up and further cement more of this negative viewpoint of the world. Also, a big component that influences you is the environment that you grew up in. So if you grew up in a stressful environment where your role models or the people around you were fighting or were critical or complaining all the time, or there's threats everywhere, you may have developed a hypervigilance, and this negative energy could have actually protected you, but you could be stuck in this energy a lot. And once you leave these stressful environments, you'll find that it works against you. And there's a lot of suffering and struggle, and life just feels hard. Now, conversely, you probably realize that there are a lot of people that have a more predominant positive energy state of being. And what you may have not realized is that your energy would repel them. And I don't mean to say this in a mean way or anything like that, but people simply avoid you or may not associate with you. And you may be wondering why. Why is this possible? Why does this happen? And as human beings, we've kind of observed this. We have phrases like, he sucked the energy out of the room, or the energy shifted when she walked in the room. And what this refers to is a certain discrepancy between the output of energy between two people. And it's pretty funny when you start to read about personal growth or you start meditating, starting to practice spiritual disciplines such as meditation or yoga, for example, and you start to embody and imbue some of the positivity in your life, you may actually at first start to become very suspicious of positive energy. And I know I did. You may say to yourself, why is everyone laughing so much? This is something that's very common in positive energy is laughter. Or why are people so friendly and nice? So again, this refers to that hypervigilance that you have, where you're a little bit suspicious of overly friendly people, or you simply get bored when there's no drama, no ups and downs. Because in lower energy states, things need to be very dramatic. There's no personal energy within, so you seek a lot of stimulus from outside and you need ups and downs, and your nervous system is constantly reactive. In higher energy states, there's more lightness and you prefer things to be simple without any complication. And the general theme of positive energy, by contrast, is lightness, ease of being, happiness, positivity, and an overall mindset of everything is okay. And this will feel weird to you at first if you're not used to these types of states of being. So I want to talk to you about how to shift from an overall negative energy state to a positive energy state. So I want to be clear that these things take time, especially if you spend a lot of time in negative energy states. But if you continue to do the work of letting go of internal baggage and clutter and also implement some more positive aspects and habits, you will start to shift and it will happen. And think of it like planting seeds. At the moment, it won't be apparent when you start to plant the seeds of positivity. And even though you are going through the motions or may feel like you're going through the motions and you start to practice certain positive things, you don't notice any external changes. But if you keep watering these seeds with these positive habits, one day these qualities become more of a baseline state of being and becomes more accessible and natural for you to access positivity. And eventually, you may not even relate to negative energy states anymore. So, how can we make this shift? One thing I recommend is starting a daily meditation practice. And I also have guided meditations on this channel, which you can check out. But if you're new to meditation, I recommend doing at least 30 minutes a day. And I specifically recommend the Brahma Viharas, which are sublime and boundless qualities of the heart. And they were originally found in Buddhism and also yoga. And I have other talks on the Brahma Viharas, but essentially what you'd be doing is setting out good intentions towards yourself and other people. And one easy way to do this is to recite to yourself, may I be happy, may I be peaceful, and may I be free from suffering. And once you've sent these good intentions towards yourself, you then extend it out to other people in your life. So you think of a person and then say in your mind, may you be happy, may you be peaceful, and may you be free from suffering. And this is a very powerful practice that not only changes your overall mood, but also your relationships in your life. And as a human being, your relationships with other people have a dramatic influence on your expression in the world and your overall well being. So it can change your relationships and it's very powerful. And the second thing meditation does is that it also clears out certain clutter, struggles, and baggage within you. And it clears negative energies within you. And I do want to caution that these repressed emotions that everyone has does come out with intensity, especially if you are doing a lot of meditation every day. So I do recommend working with a teacher or going at a slower pace. The next practice to do to clear negative energy and also cultivate positive energy is to practice gratitude. And I also have other talks on this as well. And when you do practice gratitude, you are happy with what you have compared to desiring what you don't have. And when you're happy with very little, this is a very powerful practice because you start to realize that you need less and less external things for you to be happy. So you become happy with very little. Contentment and gratitude are talked about a lot in very spiritual traditions. And also, there are some bases that practicing gratitude can increase serotonin, the neurotransmitter. So it does make you feel happy and content. The next thing you can do to cultivate more positive energy is to socialize more with uplifting people. And while you don't necessarily have to be an extrovert, with the right friends, you'll find that they'll uplift your mood. Because when friends get together, they typically like to laugh and joke and raise positive energy. And if you're not used to it, if you've been isolated for some time or you just have friends that bring you down, you may not be used to it. Like I mentioned earlier, maybe you may feel tired after laughing or joking around. But eventually, if you become used to this energy, you'll find your mood more uplifted. And positive friends can really transform your life and make your outlook on life much better. So, this is very important. And then, lastly, start to look at some of the basic things like your overall lifestyle, such as diet, your exercise, your sleep. So, this may seem very obvious, but it does have a tremendous effect on your brain chemistry. So, I hope this talk helps. And if you have any tips to share on what you found helpful to overcome negative energy, leave it in the comments. Thank you.